Hello everyone, welcome back to God from Academy. So today we are dealing with the frustum, calculating the volume of a frustum. So with me here is this question that came in 2019 GCE. So this question is always there in mathematics paper 2 section B. This question is always there, and most of the times it is coupled with earth geometry, so you have to know how to go about it. So this is GCE, and the question says the diagram shows a frustum TQRS. So TQRS of a cone. Then they've given us the pi, and they've given us this information to say, given that US is 3 centimeters and UV, so this is US 3 centimeters, UV, this height is 10 centimeters, and RV, so V is here, this is our V, yeah, so UV is 10, RV is what, 8 centimeters. Then it says calculate its volume. So firstly we need to understand what a frustum is. So when they say a frustum, they mean at first you had a cone. So a cone is like this. This is a cone. Then you cut it somewhere here and you remain with this part. Okay? So this part that remains when you cut off this top part is what we call a frustum. So this is important because that's where our formula comes from. So when you are calculating the volume of a frustum, when it is like this, okay, this shape, you see that this is a circle here. Even here on top, it's a circle. This is different from the one that they bring when it has maybe a rectangle at the bottom, then even at the top, or a square. So for this one, this is the concept. Of course, it's the concept to any shape, but in the formula, there's a bit difference. So for this one, the formula that you use, you say volume. Actually, the concept, you need to understand first the concept. For us to calculate the volume, we need firstly to go back to what it was before they cut it. So you understand that before they cut it, it was a full cone, okay? But now they are asking us to find this volume. So what we will do, we will firstly need to find the total height, okay? In short, we will find the total volume of the cone before it was cut, this volume. Then we will subtract the volume of this part that was cut. We will remain with this volume here. That is the concept. So the volume of the total cone, the entire cone, okay, the whole cone, how was it and what was the volume? So that volume of the entire cone before it was cut, then we subtract the cone of this part, small part, the small cone which was cut. We will remain with this volume, which is the volume of the what? Of the frustum. So that should guide you. Okay? So the formula for the cone, for this cone, is volume is equal to 1/3 pi r squared h. Okay, this is the volume. So we will use this to find the volume of the bigger cone before it was cut. Okay, then minus the volume of the smaller cone which was cut, and we'll remain with this volume. So here, what do you do for us to find the volume of the bigger cone before it was cut? So I take this shape and put it here. For us to find the volume of the bigger cone before it was cut, we will have something like this. It was looking like this. Then here we've been given this height. So we need to know the height of this one. Okay? When we know the height of the cone, the small cone which was cut, we will say this 10 centimeters plus the height of the small cone which was cut. Then we'll have the total height. I hope you understand that one. So firstly, we need to find this x, which is the height of this smaller cone which was what? Which was cut, for us to remain with this. So we will say this height, we will say it is x. So the height of the smaller cone is x over the height of the entire cone from here now to the top. So from here to here, we've been given what? 10. Plus this small height which is x. That will give us the entire height. Hope you get that one. This will be equivalent to. Now, what are we going to say? Here now we will say, since we are looking for this height, we are using similarities and congruence. So height of the smaller cone over total height is equal to radius of a smaller cone over the total radius. So this is the radius we've been given, because you understand that from here to here, this is the diameter. Half of the diameter is the radius. So sometimes they'll give you the diameter. You have to divide it by 2 to get the radius. But in this case, we've been given the radius of the smaller one as 3 over the radius of a bigger one, which is 8. So we will cross multiply here. Then we'll have x multiplied by 8, which is 8x, being equal to 3 multiplied by all this. So 3 multiplied by 10, that is 30. Then 3 multiplied by positive x, that will be positive 3x. So here we need to collect the like terms. These 3 should come this side. So we are going to say 8x. When this comes here, it will be minus 3x, being equal to 30 here. Okay. So we will say 8 minus 3, that is 5x, which is equal to 30 over 5 here, so that we remain with x. So 30 divided by 5, that is 6 centimeters. So 6 centimeters is the height of the smaller cone, the height which was cut here. I hope you understand that one. So since we have this one, now we can note it down to say our x, our small height is what? Is 6 centimeters. That is the height of the smaller cone. Therefore, the height of the bigger cone from here all the way to the top, the entire bigger cone, is going to be, we use capital H. Actually, here x, we will replace it with small letter h. Small letter h meaning the height of the smaller cone. Capital or block letter H symbolizing the height of the bigger cone. So it's going to be this that we have here, 10, plus this height of the smaller one, which is 6. So height of a bigger cone is going to be 16 centimeters. From here now, we will apply the formula. We need to find the volume of a bigger cone minus the volume of a smaller cone. We will remain with the volume of the what? Of the cone here, of the frustum. So volume of a bigger cone will be 1 over 3 pi r. Radius will be r squared in capital. It will be capital R because it is a bigger cone. Then even h, capital H, minus now volume of a what? Of this smaller cone, which was here. Okay, which was here. So this is the thing. So this formula is for this bigger cone, the volume. This is the formula. Then we have this smaller cone minus the volume of this smaller cone. Okay, so the volume of this smaller cone is half pi. Radius now here for the smaller cone will be small letter r. Then even the height will be small letter h, symbolizing that this is the volume for the what? Smaller cone. So this volume minus this will remain with the volume of the frustum. So I hope you get this formula. And if you think, if you want, you can even factorize, you can factor it out. But you can just go with this, it's one and the same. So we'll say volume is equal to, for the bigger cone now, for the bigger cone, actually maybe let's just factorize it so that it becomes easier. So you see what is common here, we have 1 over 3 even here. If you don't want, you can substitute all these values, all these letters with their values, okay, and you continue. It will still give you the same answer. But we can say 1 over 3 is common here, even here. Even r, pi. Pi is also common. Okay. Then here we will remain with this. So this is common, even this is common. We take this outside. Then we remain with this. So these are not common because these are capital letters, these are small letters. So this is r squared h minus, here will remain with r squared h. So our volume is going to be 1 over 3 multiplied by pi. That is our pi. It's what? It is 3.142. Open brackets. Our radius for the bigger cone is here, 8 squared, multiplied by our height for the bigger cone. This is the one we found, which is 16, minus radius for the smaller cone. Radius for the smaller cone is 3 centimeters, multiplied by, so it is 3 centimeters squared because here it's squared, multiplied by the height of the smaller cone, the one we found, which is 6 centimeters. So this is how you go about the question. From here now, you will say our volume is equal to, you just now use your calculator to solve. So you can multiply, you can work out this. So you work out this in the brackets, then you multiply with this, then you divide by 3 at the end. So after working this, it has given me, so here is my calculate, you can see the answer here. So after I work out everything, I started by multiplying this minus multiplying this. This gives me 970 multiplied by 3.142 multiplied by 1, then divide by 3. So this is the what? This is the answer it has given me. So here now, I'll write this answer to say this is 1015.91333. So on the instructions, just on the first page, okay, the front page of the paper, they've said for the answers, I mean, you should leave these answers in decimal form, only in 3 significant figures. That is very important because the instruction is there. So you need to leave it in 3 significant figures. So we only need the first 3 numbers. So volume is going to be, this is 1, it will be like this, this is 0. So we need to end here. So we'll consider this number, whether it is 5 or greater than 5. And it is 5, if it is 5 or greater than 5, we will get 1 and add here. Then this will become 0. So we'll get 1 and add here to this one, this will be 2. And here we'll have 0. The point is here, so all this becomes 0. So this is our volume. So this is how we go about the volume that is in this shape. Okay, when it is the volume for the frustum, it has a shape like this. The bottom is circle, even this one is circle. The formula is a bit different. I'm repeating. When the frustum is has a rectangular shape or a square, okay, yeah, the formula is a bit different. So for this one, this is how you go about it. Don't forget to do what? To subscribe and like.